What's going on, the Copywriting Call Podcast? It's your boy Loso 2.0, the copy god himself. And today we're talking about, it's our weekly Genesis 3 breakdown. So our weekly, Bible breakdown, okay? I know it's early in the morning, 5 in the morning, but, I went to sleep early because I need to get this work in. And yes, I got Chick-fil-A cup drinks, so their ice water is the best. Okay, so let's jump straight into Genesis 3. For you guys who have read it, and like I said, I advise you, and I said this before too, I advise you to go read it yourself and go do your studying on your own. Again, I want to tell you this before every single one. This is not original information. Actually, none of my information is really original. All of it comes from stuff that I learned. And in this one is from the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary right here by Charles Fairmore. Told you guys about that. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay. So in Genesis 3, to break it down basically simply, there was the serpent, it came into the Garden of Eden, which you probably heard this story before, came into the Garden of Eden, told Eve, like, hey, eat from the tree, the tree of good and evil, the knowledge, good and evil, or whatever, right? And she was just like, he was like, yeah, no, you're not going to die, because God told her she will surely die if she does that. So she was just like, yeah, word, you feel me? I'm gonna just take your word for it. She, was convinced to do it. She eats the fruit, and then she realizes something. So then she's like, hold on, hold on, baby, let me, you eat from it too. So she gave Adam the fruit and told him to eat from it as well. And then, God came back into the garden, and he couldn't find, Eve and Adam. He's like, yo, where y'all at, right? And then they were hiding because they figured out they were butt naked after they ate from the fruit, right? And then they were afraid. They were like, yo. And then that's when God was like, whoa, like, all right, why'd you guys do this? So then, he basically started punishing everybody. He gave women pain when they gave birth. He made men have to eat from the land to survive. And then he basically took the snake's legs away. I think women got it the worst, definitely. And then the snake, that's messed up though, bro. He said he had to eat dirt for the rest of his life because you basically dirt all in his mint. Like, I never even thought of that snake, doing that type of thing. Excuse me, throat a little dry. But this is and then he kicks them out. And then after that, he has a cherubim flaming sword and stuff protecting Eden. Okay. This is literally what happened, right? Now, come on now. Like, this is what I'm talking about, right? Like, I'm not bashing the Bible, nothing like that. I'm not saying stuff didn't happen actually, I am saying I don't believe none of this to actually happen. These are all stories trying to teach you lessons, right? So, you can get different lessons from this. I don't know what your lesson could be from this. Because honestly, I totally believe in skepticism and, getting wisdom. And if you just listen to what people say, you know what I mean? You're never going to get anywhere in life. I'm going to be honest with you. If you're just sitting here listening to what everybody says, listening to, oh, my fault, I forgot I was on camera too. If you sit here listening to what people say, just doing whatever they tell you to do, you're never going to get anywhere in life. Honestly. So I don't see really a problem with her doing this, but let's break it down metaphysically, right? So what's the serpent? The serpent is desire or your sense consciousness. Now it can see desire. That's a tough subject, right? It's funny because when I'm just like directly translating it, right? It's like, I just put like something like the serpent made, convinced Eve to eat from the tree of good, the knowledge, good and evil, right? And it's like, serpent is desire. Eve is just your love, right? Just love. So it's like desire tricked love into consuming from the capacity of your mind, right? Or to go to your free will. Now desire is a tricky subject, right? Because it kind of reminds me, right, where people are like, yeah, I get married for love. Or they get married. A lot of people just, not married, but just get in relationships because of lust and stuff that they see, like just having that desire for it. So it can be used as a bad thing, but also desiring, your actual goals and stuff. It can be a good thing as well, right? So it just depends on how you do it, though. Of course, love and whatever. But really what this chapter is about, right, is how to basically, it kind of resembles the third chapter, right? The second chapter really is about how to perceive truth and how to basically get locked back in, really. Okay? Because basically, when man eats from the tree of, knowledge of good and evil, right? this is his first, basically, this is when he first perceives truth. He first perceives what is true. And it's like, this is the moment past, when we actually are made in the image of the Most High. So we're already gods. But this is the moment we really, really like, we're gods now, right? Because we see everything that God sees. We do everything that God does, right? So not everything, in the stories, but I'm saying like we could see and stuff, and we are gods now. But it basically unlocks our capacity of our mind, and it creates free will. This is what separates us from animals, right? That will, that actual free will that we have to basically do whatever we want and have dominion over them, right? But so like when we first perceive this truth, it's like, all right, now we learn of duality, which is also polarity too, in a sense. And it's a deeper thing. Polarity is a very deep message or whatever, right? But this is when we first figure out about like everything is the same, but it's different. You know what I mean? It's weird. That's exactly what polarity is, right? And I was talking to my mentor, and he was talking to me about how the idea of like polarity is really duality, which duality is just like everything is the same, but it's just the only difference between it is its location or something, or he said something, I forgot. We didn't really get to finish the conversation though. But really though, that's what it is though, right? So this is when you learn of good and evil. You learn that there can't be no good without no evil. So when people do evil things, we have to acknowledge it, because if they never did that, that's basically good. And I had somebody come into my job, right? And we were talking, He was talking about some, Samsung. He's just like a Samsung guy, right? He was like, I have no problem with Apple. Actually, I love Apple. And he's like, without Apple, I wouldn't have a job, because we need a competition. And it's true. You need duality. You can't have success without having failure. Everything in your life, you have to have both of them, right? You have to have both. So this is natural cause thing. So you learn this, man first learns this, that you have to have the other without the other. So for y'all that want to be successful, don't think that you're going to be successful without failing a lot, because you're going to fail a lot more than you succeed. Actually, you fail all the way to the top. You probably succeed once, right? But you fail a lot more, because that's what gets you to thing. When you work out, you're working out to failure to succeed. When you get in a relationship, when you get married, you're failing. You probably failed at past relationships all the way up to the one that actually works and the one that you succeed in. It's duality. You have to accept it. You have to accept one in order to get the other. It's the natural cause of things, right? And then when we did this, we lost our consciousness of divine nature, because once we got the free will, man got free will, we started to gain an ego, right? And your ego will be the death of you. Do not let your ego be the death of you, because if you gain such an ego where you think that you don't need nobody, you don't think you need to learn, all stuff like that, that is what will kick you out of your Eden, or out of your productive state of consciousness. And that's what will make you basically like unable to learn. You're going to start being like uncoachable. If you're uncoachable, you're never going to go anywhere in life, right? So that's what happens. Like when man started to get this knowledge of good and evil, the capacity of their mind, when they realize how much they can learn, once we started to do that stuff, and we started to win a little bit, we start learning about duality, but we don't accept it. We ended up, getting kicked out. And that's why we have to. And now when we got kicked out of that productive state of consciousness, God told us we had to keep tilling the ground. Like that was also our punishment, right? Keep tilling the ground, which really means to bring substance ideas back by keep learning. So he's saying in order to get out of that ego state, to get out of, get back into that productive state, you have to continue to basically learn. You have to keep learning, honestly. So you have to keep learning. And then once you do that, and the only thing, and that's what's stopping you, right? So like when he kicked this out, he had the flaming sword in this room, which is not real. Or I'm not saying it's real. He literally said, this is being protected. So our productive state, or our spiritual life, which is Garden of Eden, is protected from our filthy consciousness, that ego that makes us think we're better than everybody, better than ourselves. And then it's protected by the word of God. So the Bible, which is really knowledge, and then sacred wisdom, not sacred knowledge, not learning stuff, actually applying knowledge and your life experience from applying knowledge. So you can only re-enter if you're born anew, or if you keep learning, you become this new person that's like coachable. So the biggest lesson from Genesis 3, right, is we know the truth. You have to, there's a couple things to learn. One, accept duality. Accept that you can't have one thing without having the other. That's the only way you're going to be successful. Two, you must always constantly be learning. You have to constantly learn in order to basically grow and get back into this productive state of consciousness to be successful. And of course, three, right, is to honestly let that ego go. You have not earned anything. You have to start acting like you literally, like you, where is this ego coming from? You haven't even earned anything. Even I catch myself sometimes in the ego, right? Ego problem. You haven't learned anything. So start acting like you are literally from the ground earning your stripes. That's something I've seen on, and then I'm leave this with this as well. I was watching The Last Dance, and when Michael Jordan came in, even though everybody was talking about how he's the greatest rookie, stuff like that, greatest player of all time, he came in and was like, yo, I have to earn my stripes. So you have to always take every single day like you have to earn your stripes. All right. So that's really all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys like the Genesis 3 breakdown. You can let me know what you think about everything below. And with everything, man, keep killing the day. And just remember, you pray for market like this. Copy, God out.